I'm Ellie Drake, and you're watching Braveheart Women TV. Hello everyone, you're watching Braveheart Women TV. I'm Ellie Drake, and this is your global collaboration show. Creating loving relationships is what we all desire. But the daily pressures of life, work, and other situations can, unfortunately, threaten to tear even the best relationships apart. So how do we build relationships that can endure these pressures? With me today to explore this topic, we have best-selling authors and founders of the Hendricks Institute, Dr. Gay Hendricks and Dr. Katie Hendricks, and author and entrepreneur, Beth Davis. So the first question is, what is the meaning of a loving relationship anyway? We hear it so often, loving relationships, but let's redefine it in a way that maybe we can get it.
Well, I think a loving relationship is where each of us can be ourselves totally. Yes. I can be real, I can be myself in the presence of somebody else. I think that's what everybody really longs for.
I think also one of the things that we discovered, we've been together 32 years now, and one of the things we discovered in our first year or two is how important it was for each of us to be committed to our own individual creative lives as well as being committed to the other person. Because we found that if we weren't actually practicing our own creativity and having our own life in the creative realm, we would always take it out on the other person. You know, so I think that's one of the big things.
That's
we always say that all you need is 10 minutes a day focused on your passion and your genius, and that can really rebirth your relationships.
Wow. So simple, yet so deep and so true. I know for me, along the same lines, you know, we've heard so much that relationships are 50-50, but for me it's like a 50-50 relationship doesn't work. It's got to be 100 and 100, and then there is a third energy to your relationship, and that's got to be 100. And by you giving to yourself and focusing on you, then you are nurturing the third energy.
That third energy, the relationship itself, and we really think that that's the new frontier, is that rather than men being in charge or women being in charge, that it's relationship itself. That we're...
Relationship itself being in charge?
Yes, relationship itself and the power of relationship, of us relating, whether we're in a romantic relationship or in family or in a work situation, that the same principles apply, that when we are whole and loving ourselves, then we can join with another person, and that energy between us, that's really exciting, a place of discovery.
Yes. And Beth, how have you seen that apply to business, let's say?
Well, I have a team of about 10 people in my company now, and what I have found has been so helpful is we hold as the mission, the interpersonal mission of the company, to be loving and respectful to one another. And I feel my job as the company owner is really to ask that team member, I don't even like the word employee, ask that team member, how can I better support you? What are you working on right now? What do you need to make your work experience better? Because if they feel that they're supported, and even more so connected to the purpose, the passion, and the mission of the company, they are invested.
And what you said, does that apply to business itself? Because, so for Beth to focus only on her own energy, then allow the team to focus on their individual energy, but isn't it job of a company owner, entrepreneur, to focus on where the team is going? How does that...
Well, I think the best team is made up of people who as individuals are tapping into their own genius and what their own unique abilities are. So one of the things that we like to do in our business, and actually in our relationship with each other, is actually ask each other probably at least once a week. I will say to Katie, is there anything that I could be doing or saying that would make your life easier or better? You know, and just the act of everybody being in the process of asking that question makes for a very alive environment.
And I have to say, I was just watching you, and I was just watching Katie listen to you, and I just kind of could continue watching Katie listen to Gay, and it was just the whole listening. You got that down. So I don't remember what you said, because I was like, oh, that's nice. Look at how they listen to each other, right? Wasn't that beautiful? So talk to us, Beth, about this context that we're talking about, concept, and children.
Well, what I do in my business is we help people figure out their life purpose. That's specifically what we do. So with children, I think the first thing a parent can do is help that child figure out the child's purpose, their passion, and then foster that. And what we do know scientifically with the brain is in 100% of cases, when a human being is criticized, they go into defense. So even constructive criticism causes it does not work. It does not work.
No.
It does not work. Just goes unless someone says, "Lay it on me," and they're paying you. That's different.
Yeah,
That's different.
If they're paying you,
that's different.
If you're
a
paying
lot,
them, it works.
that's different. But a child hears what 80. They hear no 80,000 times, like in the first 3 years. So if you can manage that by telling them yes 160,000 times, double the yeses towards their life purpose. They grow up with that sense of self-worth, and most of what sabotages people in the world is low self-worth and an inaccurate inner image. They don't see, they don't even dream for themselves a big vision in the world, a big purpose, because their inner image doesn't match what it is they most want to create. And that really is healed in the beginning when the parent is attentive to that child's purpose and passion and fosters that. That's the greatest gift a parent can give a child.
That is wonderfully said. Beautiful. So let's talk on that point that you made, though. So you're saying in loving relationships, there is absolutely no room for constructive criticism.
Well,
how do you make each other grow then? You don't, huh?
How can that work?
Yes.
Well, let me just tell you a personal story.
Yeah.
Katie and I, many years ago, we decided we wanted to eliminate criticism from our relationship to see if we could still grow without it. And it happened one time that we were at a visit from Katie's parents, and we were listening to them kind of criticize each other, and we realized that we'd just been criticizing ourselves the same way in that same tone of voice. And we thought, they were coming up on their 50th wedding anniversary, and we said, you know, we'd only been together 2 years, and we said, did we want to spend the next 50 years just getting good at criticizing each other? So we decided to eliminate it. So we made a commitment and actually solemnly agreed on it. And over the next 2 to 3 years, we basically eliminated all criticism. So we've been able to grow and write 9 books together and make 1 million frequent flyer miles around the world, and all that without any criticism of each other.
And here's what we do instead. We shift from blame to wonder.
Blame to wonder.
Blame to wonder. When you activate your wonder brain, which you can do by going, you open up your wonder brain, and if you add into that, what can I learn from this? How did I contribute to this? You get genuinely curious about your creativity.
Oh, so you don't mean, like, by wonder, you don't mean just change your constructive criticism to,
no.
I wonder what you would look like if you wore green today. Yes, you don't mean that.
What you would look like if you weighed 50 pounds.
If you lost 50 pounds, I wonder
what
you
it's
would
all
look
about
like.
is, let's say I'm right in the middle of criticizing you, something. Ellie, you are, and then all of a sudden I go, what did I do to contribute to this problem? You know, it's catching yourself right in the middle of blame and then saying, how was I responsible for setting up this problem? That's the moment that really changes people's lives.
So notice it's not
So you're not
blaming
criticizing yourself.
Exactly.
No,
He's not blaming, he's actually going, getting curious. Wonder. Wonder is a magical state in which all kinds of discoveries can be made.
Beautiful. I must say that's fantastic. So we have about 30 seconds, and here's my question. When a loving relationship is just, or when a relationship, no matter how much you wonder, does not work, then do you release that relationship or do you try to make it work?
You get to a point, if there comes a point in a relationship where the person's pain is greatly outweighing any of the possibilities, they need to do something. They need to unplug from it or separate or do something until they can recharge their batteries enough to even know whether they ought to leave or not. But what I see people do is wait so long before they address their pain that they jump into a divorce or a separation without actually understanding what the nature of their real pain is. So that's what I would recommend first.
Beautifully said. Well, we can continuously talk about that. This is such a delicious conversation, but we got to go. That's our show for today. On our next global collaboration show, our topic will be trust what your body is telling you. In the meantime, be sure to go to braveheartwomencore.com and find out what the Core Inner Circle is all about. You can also access Beth's exclusive video, 3 Keys to Honoring Your Passion. in your core member section. We love hearing from you, so remember to share your questions and comments in the Braveheart Women discussion boards. On behalf of everyone here on the show today, thank you for watching Braveheart Women TV, and remember, be inspiration in action.